Love this guy, man. Unbelievable. And he's here on part. Let me make sure I get this right. You get a chance to attend the Cheez-It Bowl with Pat McAfee. Oh, my gosh. Who wouldn't want to do that?
I'm in.
Now, the question is, as Pat McAfee joins us here on the Rich Eisen Show, the Cheez-It Bowl, was that what you screamed out? Was that the safe words you screamed out when Rich Rodriguez came to your house when you were having that party you weren't supposed to? Was that, wow. Was that what that was?
It was a team camaraderie building barbecue.
My bad.
Camaraderie building barbecue.
My bad.
It wasn't a party.
So it wasn't like, hey, Cheez-It Bowl, Cheez-It Bowl. And everyone just runs. That wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not like a whoop, whoop. Not that. The Cheez-Its were on hand, though. If it means anything, there were Cheez-Its at the team camaraderie building barbecue, but Rich Rod was the only coach that didn't come and the only member of the entire team that didn't come to this camaraderie building barbecue, so he would have never known that. That's a shame on him. I'm assuming he enjoyed Cheez-Its down the road a little bit more.
Okay, and let's put a pin in the Cheez-It talk then for the moment and head on to it. So what do we call then what the Patriots were, or a member of the Patriots staff was doing in Cleveland the other day with a video camera, Pat?
Oh, we call it optically not good, Rich. This is optically not a good situation. Now, I talked to Rob Ninkovich on my show this morning, and Ninkovich was telling me about how Kraft Productions is its own thing, and then football operations is its own thing. And I'm a very naive guy. You know, if somebody looks me right in the face and says something with enough conviction, I'm all in. So when Bill Belichick said, I 100% don't know what he's talking about, I believed him. Now, from what I'm being told, people are really diving into these tapes. They're not just going to be set ablaze like the old Spygate 1.0. I believe people are really looking at these tapes now. From what I've heard, 8 minutes of filming of the Cincinnati Bengals sideline, Rich, not good at all. You get Ernie Adams' big brain with those videotapes. Maybe that offense gets humming again, gets a little confidence, and all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl favorite all of a sudden. But I have no idea. Everything's alleged, and I'm happy that they were willing to wear a Patriots polo while doing this, if this is exactly what they were doing, because you're just hiding in plain sight, big dog move, and I can respect the hell out of that. But clearly cheating if that's what
Well, apparently it was also somebody in a Boston Bruins jersey and a little hockey sweater, too, that had the camera, according to some of these reports, too. And that's just what makes no sense to me, is that the Patriots like stroll into a press box. You know, it's somebody in the Cam Neely gamer, you know, and that makes no sense to me, Pat. That makes it seem like that's absurd.
Yeah. And let's assume if the Patriots were going to cheat again. Now, granted, we don't know what happened, Rich. You nor I have any idea. But let's assume that the smartest football coach in the history of football, alongside this guy named Ernie Adams, who, by all accounts, is the smartest human to potentially ever exist, if they were to do something that they had been caught up doing before, they would do it in a little different manner, especially in 2019 when everybody has a camera attached to their phone. You know, maybe dress up like a Dog Pound member, a Brown fan with your phone on the side, maybe something like that. I just don't know how much I believe they walked into a press box where everybody has a camera and started recording something they didn't know. This could be a misunderstanding. This could be a mistake, or this could be damning for the greatest dynasty in the history of professional sports, Rich.
Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, ballpark for me. Which one is it? By the way, you've done just to, you understand, Pat, how much you've grown as a broadcaster. You've done a couple of things here that I'm very proud of, if you don't mind me just pointing out in the last couple of minutes.
Please.
Number one, great under the radar drop about your show. That was great. I mean,
Thank you.
For you to say, I had Rob Ninkovich on my show today. By the way, it's the Pat McAfee Show on DAZN and Westwood 1, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern every day. Okay, that was really stealth. I picked it up. That was well done. Number two is you gave both sides of the fence. Okay, you didn't stake out ground on either side of the fence, because either side of the fence could possibly be the truth. And there's a gray area in between, but you pointed out both things while also making a point in a very entertaining manner. Excellent, Pat. I mean, that's just next level broadcasting right there. But I am going to have to ask you which one it is, do you think?
No. Why did you do that to me? I thought we were going to hang up at the end of the conversation. I thought I was going to win a damn Emmy for this whole day. Is that what you
still
win?
could,
Grammy?
Pat.
Golden Globe?
We still could, Pat. We still could. based on this
Well,
conversation. But
let's continue our mission.
But you
I'm gonna
are
put my nose to the ground.
Yeah, but you are the host of the Pat McAfee show for a reason. You are getting up more often than not now for a reason. Which do you think this is?
Well, anytime I get on a college game day set, I also know that when you're speaking about facts,
yes,
you need to know the entire story. So for me, this seems a bit far-fetched to think that the New England Patriots, who are this cerebral team, that's what they are. I mean, they had Josh McDaniels tell the Colts he was going to be their head coach, got on a plane, turned the plane back around just to screw the Colts over. I mean, this team in the New England Patriots is a cerebral squad. So to think that they would just let two buffoons walk into a press box to potentially do what they had already done in the past and got caught doing in the past seems a bit far-fetched to me, but hiding in plain sight is not a bad way to get away with something. So for me, I think it's probably a misunderstanding where Kraft Productions sent something in there for the do your job, but you can't help but link it back to what happened in the past. So for me, I think it was nonsense, but I am eager and excited to see how this all plays out because that asterisk next to the Patriots that everybody outside of New England has, everybody. I mean, you walk into Indianapolis, who's the team you hate the most in the NFL? New England Patriots. You walk into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who's the team you hate the most? Cleveland Browns. Then who? New England Patriots. Every city, people like to throw rocks at things that shine, right? Taylor Swift said that, and I think she was 100% accurate. The Patriots have been at the top of the mountain for a long time, so everybody hates that team, and this just adds extra ammo for the people that hate them. But for me, I just don't see how they would let this be the reason or the way about spying on somebody, especially in 2019, when you can just get like a camera the size of a pinhole and just stand on the other side of the field. So I just, personally, this seems like this is too amateur of an operation for the Patriots to cheat, but maybe that's the way they were trying to do it.
Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show. His Pat McAfee Show just caught itself an opportunity to be broadcast by Kraft Productions right here on the Rich Eisen Show. You know, they have a very large production. They really do. I mean, from what you were told by Ninkovich, it's true. The Patriots were way ahead of any other team by creating their own production unit. And they have their own studio. They have everything there. And as a matter of fact, when we did our show, I think it was in year one, Chris? Was that year one? When we did our show from a Thursday night game in New England, they pitched in. They helped. I mean, and they had all the cameras and all the video equipment. They had everything, Pat. That's a fact.
Well, they didn't have all the video equipment because some of it got burned, the last time this whole thing happened. But, yeah, that's why they're playing chess, not checkers, not only on the field but off the field. I think they're building up an entire world up there in Foxborough, too, that Kraft owns everything so he can get all the monies from everybody that goes in there.
That's right.
And you could see, as somebody who now has ventured into much larger companies. I'm a small business myself, but we've partnered with much larger companies.
Yes.
You can see how things can fall through the cracks in communication purposes, and you can see how a buffoon wouldn't know the rules and what he was doing, which I think potentially did happen here. But who knows? Because it is the Patriots.
So if the Jets, Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show, Jets say that they are not going to discipline Le'Veon Bell for bowling, apparently, the night that he was ruled out with the flu before a game against the Dolphins. What happens in a locker room when something like that happens, Pat McAfee?
Yeah, the Jets locker room, I mean, that locker room is a wasteland anyways. I mean, they had a guy who had mono for 4 weeks. They have no idea what's going on in that locker room. And for me, I think society should punish Le'Veon Bell. If you have a flu, the last thing you should be doing is fingering balls that other people are going to be fingering, Rich. I mean, this is just not something we
so
need in our life.
This is a hygiene. You're offended on a hygiene basis, not a football teammate basis, Pat. Is that what you're saying?
If my fiance starts sniffling the wrong way, I quarantine myself in the bedroom away from her. I don't need this guy who took a year off to rap in Miami, who's one of the most elusive and incredible running backs of our generation, to be out there spreading his flu all over the damn place. I'm in New York and New Jersey once a week because of my appearances on Get Up and stuff like that, where I just can't be bowling with the fear that I'm going to pick up the Lev Bell flu. That's my bigger problem than anything. But inside of a locker room, whenever you see a guy that's missing a game that you need, that got paid a lot of money, now he's out kind of messing around. It's more of the same. You understand that locker room is in shambles. You're kind of upset about it. You would expect more out of a guy. And I just think optically, just like this video camera thing with Kraft Productions, it just looks bad. It's just a bad move. And hopefully Le'Veon Bell would learn from this moving forward, because he's going to be a vital piece of that terrible team if they're ever going to be good.
Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few more minutes left before we start talking about Cheez-Its. Your Super Bowl prediction preseason and now currently with 3 weeks ago is and was what?
Well, I picked the Colts to win the Super Bowl, and then Andrew Luck retired via an Adam Schefter tweet. So
Got it.
That kind of got tossed up. That kind of got tossed in the trash can. I personally, as the season has gone on, I feel akin to the Green Bay Packers because Aaron Rodgers came on my show 10 to noon every single day,
Nice.
Standard Time, and told me a lot of things about that team and the way LaFleur was kind of shaping that offense with Aaron Jones getting well. But it seems like they've kind of fell into a route where they might have peaked a few weeks ago, so I don't love that. This Niners team, which has come out of nowhere. Last year, a lot of hype. Then Jimmy G zigs instead of zags, tears his knee up. They lose. Nobody knew anything about him. They've really taken the world by storm with not only this defense, but this past weekend they showed that offense can get going as well. And then Russell Wilson, who I've never heard a human be mic'd up and be as positive as that guy is. I don't know how he does it. Every interview, he's super positive. On the field, he's like, hey, here we go, here we go, here we go. Sounds like he's in a dugout almost the entire time. I don't know how you can rule them out. I think the NFC is something that's going to be captivating whenever it gets to playoff time, aside from the NFC East, which absolutely stinks. But in the AFC, that Lamar Jackson offense, I don't know how many people predicted it would be as incredible as it is. Plus, you bring in Marcus Peters, which has really lit a fire for that defense. Plus, Justin Tucker, Sam Cook, and Morgan Cox. That seems like the most complete team that can compete in any fashion. They can win games in a slugfest. They can win them in a shootout. I like the Ravens right now. They're at the top of the mountain, my mountain, to go forward. But in that NFC, I'm excited to see kind of how it all pans out.
Have we seen the last of Vinatieri? Has he made his last kick in the NFL, do you think?
Hey. I don't think so, but I don't know. I have not talked to him.
Okay.
Because now everybody knows I don't have a filter. I mean, I'm just going to let things fly. I've agreed to the FCC's rules here just strictly so I can make more money than lose money. But I don't really have a filter. So I've kind of put myself in a position where I don't want to ask Vinatieri for pertinent information because I very much know that every time I'm on a microphone on ESPN, WWE, Westwood One, DAZN, my YouTube channel, there's a chance that I'm going to let it out, and I don't need to be the guy that's doing that. But for me, the older kickers in the past, Gary Anderson, Morton Anderson, they weren't able to kick balls further than 40 yards, 45 yards. Vinatieri was still hitting 60-yard field goals, 55-yard field goals, and his knee was obviously lingering all the way from training camp where he had to take some time off. So if I'm Adam Vinatieri, I've accomplished everything in life. I have Super Bowls. I have the points record. I'm very well beloved by every person that's ever played football with him. And in his mind, the most competitive mind, I think he thinks he still has some time. It's just going to have to come back to how his rehab goes, how the surgery goes, which I think is happening tomorrow. And I don't think we've seen the last of him. I think there is a much better chance than most people think to see him kick a ball again. I just think we have to see how the rehab plays because he's an old-ass man. I mean, let's just be honest. He's an old man at this point in the NFL.
Yeah. Last one for you, Pat. I've never said this to you before, and I've known you for, almost 10 years, I think, at least. Tell me about you and the Cheez-It Bowl.
That's a great statement you just said.
Thank you,
and
Pat.
The Cheez-It Bowl, Rich Eisen, is the biggest, best bowl of all time. Not because last year people called it the most absurd and most satisfying bowl they've ever watched, but because this year in Arizona on December 27th, 2 days after a birthday, a little bit after Hanukkah ends, there will be a bowl game between Mike Leach's Wazoo Cougars and the Air Force Falcons, and I will be sitting atop a 2-story Cheez-It box right on the side of the field, and people from all across the globe can be sitting in that box with me, Rich. You know how?
How?
Well, they got to tweet out the hashtag #CheesePickMePat entry, and that's cheese as in Cheez-It, CHEEZ, Pick Me Pat entry, showcasing their love of Cheez-Its just as much as I do and the rest of the world does, with a photo or a video. The ones who love Cheez-It the most will win a chance to sit alongside me, 20 feet in the air, field side, in a Cheez-It box, free hotel, free airfare, best day of your life watching the best bowl game to ever exist with your friends at Cheez-It.
So sitting, it's a monster-sized Cheez-It box Now, do you sit your legs dangling over the box? Are there seats on top? I mean, is there a railing? What else is up there, Pat? I mean, give me a little bit more. Or are we still working on it? Is that still being workshopped, Pat?
Well, I mean, just for the sake of this conversation,
yes.
Let's assume that the Cheez-It folks, not only the best snack to ever exist, but also civilized humans. So let's assume that we're putting our feet on a sturdy floor with a little bit of a boundary so we don't fall off.
Yep.
All we're going to have is a bird's eye view, a perfect view, best seat in the house for the best bowl game of all time. But to be completely candid, I have not seen it. I have no idea. I've only seen renderings of it, and I think it's going to be awesome.
And then just again, if you're sharing the same Cheez-It bowl, don't go bowling with Le'Veon Bell before sitting up there with you and sticking their mitts into that bowl, right, Pat? You know what I'm saying?
Rich, I saw what you did there, and that is why
it's called full
you're
circle.
The best to do it.
It's called buttoning it up, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way,
we put a pin on it early too. We circled back to it.
We put
now
a pin?
You're buttoning it up with a flu joke.
Put a pin in it, pulled it out, and then came right back around. That's exactly what I did, Pat. You know, but again, I also appreciate how you dropped every platform that you have. You didn't even mention your Twitter and Instagram at Pat McAfee Show. You gave us your A game. You gave us some information, and you just gave us yourself, Pat. But that's who you are, and I appreciate it. You know that.
You think we're going to win an Emmy?
Together, if we did a show together, I think there's no stopping us, quite honestly.
Hey. Speaking of,
yes.
I guess there was a chance where I was going to make an appearance on that NFL 100 all-time team.
Okay.
I sent, not on the team, but in that show.
Okay.
You, Chris, Mr. Belichick, who's potentially filming Zach Taylor over there. Incredible job. I look forward to that every single week. It's nice to take a little trip back in the history of football, and I think you do a fantastic job.
Yeah, I mean, you lost your spot to Ray Guy and Shane Leckler. Do you like those choices as punters? Do you think those were good choices?
Shane Leckler is the greatest of all time. He's a guy who, anytime you played against him, he would leave beer for the opposing team specialist. He's a gentleman,
Are you serious?
A man's man. Yeah, and he could kick the hell out of football. I'm very lucky to call Shane Leckler a friend. And Ray Guy, I mean, he was revolutionary. He was a trailblazer, but he wouldn't be able to hold the jock of most NFL punters today.
Wow, that's the hottest take you did. Well, even here, Pat. Come on now. Really?
He couldn't. I mean, it's just like it's every sport. You know, once somebody figures he was revolutionary, trailblazer, could do a lot of great things with the football. But after those practices and techniques get honed in and exercises and everything like that, I mean, he just has no chance. Would Ray Guy be able to dominate this year if he grew up in this era? I think so. He's a great athlete. But for me, his film and stuff like that, his numbers aren't like, oh, this guy's great. But he didn't really stand a chance because he was setting the tone for everybody to follow him. In my eyes, Shane Leckler, best of all time.
You're not destroying the brand here, are you? I mean, this is brand-on-brand violence, it sounds like to me.
Well, I could be pretty biased, too, because I should have won the Ray Guy Award, and he picked somebody else that he's friends with, and I didn't love that. I didn't love that. I had to fly down to Orlando for the College Football Award Show. I had to rent a suit. My dad had to take days off for work for us to go down to this stupid award show. And out of the three that he picked, we weren't the right three to be the finalists. Other people were much better than us three. But out of the three finalists, I was clearly the best. Thought I was going to get an award, was ready to burn it down with a good acceptance speech. And instead, Ray Guy picked a kid he was friends with the coach of. And I'll hate him forever for that. But yeah, I think he did really good things for the punting brand, and I just think Shane Leckler is the best of all time.
You rented a suit? I'm sorry, I wanted to let you go, but you rented a suit for that? You rented one?
Yeah, I was a college kid, and I played punter and kicker. I wasn't getting $100 handies, over there in West Virginia. I had to rent a suit. I went down there. I mean, it rained. I didn't even get to go to Disney World. I mean, the whole thing was just a bad memory, and Ray Guy's face is the face of that entire memory for me.
Oh, man. If you had only invited him to your team building function, Pat, maybe this whole thing would have been different,
I think Ray Guy would have crushed it, that team camaraderie building barbecue, but he wasn't invited, so to hell with them. And shout out to both of them for making it. And I'm very happy for Ray Guy getting the Hall of Fame. It's good for punters going forward, but I don't like that.
You the man, Pat. Wow. Hashtag cheese pick me Pat entry and tag at Cheez-It on Twitter for your chance to sit next to Pat atop a very large Cheez-It box at the Cheez-It Bowl. Did I get that right? I know it.
Everybody's welcome except for Ray Guy, unless he apologizes, and then bygones will be bygones. But aside from that, thanks for your time, Rich. You're the best.
Right back at you. That's Pat McAfee, everybody, at Pat McAfee Show on Twitter and Instagram.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.